highlight again in Disney World. This time I asked my coworkers at AllEars to rate the rides of EPCOT from 1 to 10. Then I stole their expert knowledge so I could tell you once and for all what the top 10 rides in EPCOT are, according to the experts. This isn't just your everyday run-of-the-mill top 10 rides list. No, this is compiled from the opinions of our AllEars staff, both in front of the camera and the amazing folks who work behind the camera, who sit and write about Disney World or edit about Disney World all day. It's a Disney food blog shirt. So cool. Number 10 on our list today of the best rides in EPCOT according to the AllEars team. Starting off with a bang, Journey into Imagination. This is the third version of this. I'm gonna call it an epic ride, not because it's thrilling or awe-inspiring, but because it's been through a lot, okay? Journey into Imagination, now with Figment, is where we were introduced to Figment the very first time, the original version. We met Figment with his, I guess, his creator, the Dream Finder, who is no longer represented in the ride. The second version of the ride, actually, Figment was hardly represented at all. People got so upset that Disney closed the ride and redid it a third time and made it into this one. This version that we have to this day. So, as you've heard me say a lot, this isn't many people's favorite version, but this is the version of the ride that we have, and it's got Figment, and it's pretty much just kind of a fun romp through a fictitious lab with Figment. So, we like that. There is no height requirement for this ride, so everybody in your family or travel party can ride this and enjoy it together. And if you're confused about the storyline, so am I. And that's not the point. You know, there's not a lot to learn or to get out of this other than the fact that Figment is pesky, and he's represented in the ride, which is what Figment fans need. Journey into Imagination with Figment. It's maybe nobody's favorite version of the ride, but it's the version we have a lot of nostalgia and appreciation for this ride, or its original version, being our introduction to Figment, a very much beloved character here in EPCOT, and that's why it makes it on the list, even if it's starting us off today all the way down at number 10, still a ride we all agree you should prioritize in EPCOT. Number 9 on our list, Grand Fiesta Tour starring the Three Caballeros. Welcome to the Plaza Dos Amigos, where it is always nighttime because we are having a fiesta and a siesta. That's how I feel about this ride. It's a slow-moving boat ride, which several of our rides today are, and it is taking us through different cities in Mexico. Now, there is no height requirement on this ride, which means the whole family can ride it together, and there isn't anything scary or too thrilling about it that everybody can't have a really great time enjoying this together. one's a little controversial, but I'm glad it made the list. Mission Space. Why is this controversial? Well, it replaced a ride that many people, including myself, really loved. Many people who were around for the original kind of first couple of versions of EPCOT. This was a ride called Horizons. The only thing that's left is this planter that's out front. The marquee used to be right there, and they had to tear the whole building down and start over to create really an incredible ride. It was a collaboration between Imagineering and actual NASA astronauts and scientists. And they did create something that one of our staff members said she is friends with a person who works at NASA. And she told me this is her friend's favorite ride because it is so realistic and so close to what they actually use to train astronauts at NASA. You are not going to get closer to the experience of taking off from Earth and going into space than what you will experience here, unless you work for NASA. So that being said, it's an extreme experience because yes, being an astronaut is not for the faint of heart. Literally, the ride uses centrifugal force, which means it spins you around really, 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 really fast, and you can't really tell that you're spinning. In fact, you can't hardly tell at all, I don't think. You just feel the pressure on your chest and frankly the pressure on your entire body. It's not good for people with heart conditions. It's terrible for people with motion sickness. And claustrophobia, absolutely not. You do not want to ride this ride if you have a fear of dark enclosed spaces, which I do, but I have gone on it so much that I have experienced, I think, what happens during exposure therapy, where you do something enough times or you have enough okay experiences doing something that you're no longer afraid of it. I have to say I'm happy that this ride did make the list at all. People can be pretty aggressive in, it's not like they hate it, like it's, oh, this ride is bad, you know, it's that it does too much to you. And you have this list of warnings outside that you have to read and really pay attention to and decide if you are gonna be okay to ride this, because the last thing you wanna do is go on one ride that messes up your entire Walt Disney World vacation. So pay attention to yourself, pay attention to the signs, and don't push yourself if you are on the fence about it, because they do have Green Mission, which is basically the same experience without the centrifugal force. You do see a different, movie. It's not the exact same experience, but it is the same ride vehicle without the centrifugal force and all of that pressure on your body. Over to the right is Orange Mission. We're doing Orange Mission today because we're going to show you that experience, what it's like. But seriously, Green Mission is really fun, and if you're at all on the fence about whether you can handle orange, go green. That's Mission Space. I think that our buttons were broken in our vehicle. because she was saying system override every single time. And, you know, I don't need the interactive aspect of it. I think the way that it makes your body feel is the experience, and everything else is kind of an accessory to that. But I definitely feel weird after writing that every time. It kind of changes the day a little bit, but it's really cool too. And according to the AllEars team, it's a must ride. It's one of the 10 rides you have to ride when you come to Epcot. And I gotta say that I agree. Whether you do Orange Mission or Green Mission, both were taken into consideration in this list. So it's the one that's right for you. We recommend doing it. Ride number 7, Spaceship Earth. Spaceship Earth is an opening day attraction here in Epcot. Of course it is. It's the golf ball. It's the geodesic sphere. This is the beacon, the icon of Epcot. And inside of it is an incredible ride that takes you through the history of communication, starting with the cavemen and going all the way through to the amazing technology we experience today through the magic of computers. And it's a slow ride. There's no height requirement. It is something the whole family can enjoy, and it's educational. It takes us back to the original edutainment model of opening day Epcot, and I love it. And so does the AllEars staff, placing it number 7 on this list. Kind of low down because, you know, it's an older ride. It's opening day. It has changed and progressed through the years. Thank you. And gotten some refurbishments, some touch-ups. It's had 4 narrators over the years. The current narrator is Dame Judi Dench. She has become iconic and totally synonymous with the experience in Spaceship Earth, especially her line, "Thank the Phoenicians," when talking about learning our ABCs, because they invented it. I'm going to say it. It might be number 7 on the list, but you have to ride this ride when you come to Epcot. And don't ride it when you first get here, because it'll be the first ride everybody else goes on, and sometimes there'll be like a 40-minute wait in the morning for this. And then later on, like right now, there's a posted 5-minute wait. That's why it's dark now, and I waited until later in the day, even though it's number 7, to write it, because
sliding doors on your time machine will close automatically.
You can walk on this ride later in the day. Spaceship Earth. It's a rite of passage if you've never been on it, and it is an absolute must-do for any Epcot fan, especially fans of original old school opening day Epcot. It's one of the few experiences you can have here that is still here from opening day. The number 6 ride on our list, Remys Ratatouille Adventure. This ride opened on October 1st, 2021. That was the 50th anniversary of Walt Disney World. And I think the opening here on that day was to kind of distract people and pull some of the crowds away from Magic Kingdom, since Magic Kingdom was the only park that was open 50 years ago on that day in 1971. Now, this ride opened first in Disneyland Paris in 2014. that's a pretty big lead on Walt Disney World. But it is a special ride to me. I've talked about it before, but my uncle, my dad's brother, Harley Jessup, was the art director for Ratatouille, for the movie, and he contributed a lot to the creation of this ride, and his most sort of literal contribution, he designed the fountain that is out front. And so this ride is very special to me. To ride in general, my uncle worked on it, and a lot of his artwork, sort of used as inspiration for the way the ride and the exterior and the queue look. I probably would have put it up higher in the list, but that's what's so awesome about this. This isn't my list, you know what I mean? This is the hive mind, being tapped into, all the brilliant people who write and edit and talk into their cameras for you, who know everything about Disney World because it's literally the only thing we think about and talk about. This is our list. This is our list averaged. So you're not going to get any one person's opinion represented too strongly. This is number 6. This is how the group thinks. Remy's Ratatouille Adventure. I might be partial, obviously, because of my connection to it with my family, my Uncle Harley, but I think this is a great ride for the whole family, especially if you love the film Ratatouille. You get to enter the world, shrink down to the size of a rat, and go on a madcap romp through Paris. What's not to love? Remy's Ratatouille Adventure. Très bien. Number 5 on our list, Frozen Ever After. This is a reuse of a ride system and show building from a ride called Maelstrom that was very popular to lovers of 1980s Epcot. It was something of it was a phenomenon. People loved the trolls. There was a 3-headed troll that sent you backwards on a boat in water. It was shocking. Now you go backwards on a boat in water because Elsa sends you away telling you to let it go. It's a little bit different, but it's still an amazing, amazing ride, and arguably better because now it's based on intellectual property that most people on the planet are obsessed with. I'm talking about Frozen, of course, the movie, but with no height requirement and a ride based on Frozen. I mean, this is a ride that your family truly can't miss. It might be a little bit lower on the list because maybe some of the adults in our staff don't have kids yet and are thinking about going with themselves or as adults. I can see this easily being on the top of a list of rides and Epcots for families. It's Frozen, and it's Elsa is singing at you while you're on a boat, and she makes you go backwards.
I'll be out in a minute. Oh,
That little polar bear up there is a Maelstrom Easter egg, a little tribute to Maelstrom, which was the ride that existed in this location before Frozen Ever After. after. I don't know what it is about when Elsa tells me to let it go, but I just do it. Anything that I was holding on to throughout the day, especially when she waves her hands pushing me so fluidly with her beautiful projection face, I let it all go. So, Frozen Ever After, I think it is, it's a big winner for the whole family, and I think that you should give it a try. Get yourself a Lightning Lane reservation for it. There's a long line. I'll check the wait time now for standby. It was 110, and now it's 115. So get yourself a Lightning Lane reservation, and you can let it go too. The number 4 ride on our list. Ooh, this is a good one. Test Track. Officially opening in 1999. This is actually currently the second version of this ride that we're on. We are promised a third, or at least we were told there would be one during the Destination D23 last year, and they said that it would actually be inspired by the original ride in this location inside this very same show building. Oh my gosh, and there's Monorail Silver. Everything's happening right now. But the original ride that was in the show building was called the World of Motion, and that closed in 1996. They worked hard on totally rebuilding the entire inside of the building and adding that really cool wraparound track. Originally, the ride was themed after crash test dummies, which were very popular in the 90s. That was a popular IP. It was a cool thing for them to get and to collaborate with, and that's kind of everybody's favorite version of the ride. There was sort of a danger about it. You were getting into a vehicle as a crash test dummy, and you were being put through all of these different tests to see if the car that you were driving in would help you survive catastrophe, basically. So maybe it was a little intense for some audiences, and maybe it wasn't the family-friendly experience that they had hoped. So they ended up turning it into a whole new concept on the exact same track and in the same ride vehicle, where you are now being invited into a Chevrolet design studio where you will design your own car of the future, experimental car of the future, and you will be actually getting to ride in a simulation of that car and see how it compares to other people in your travel party and other random guests. And it's cool. I really like it. I do like the first version better, and I'm super hopeful about this new version, especially because it's inspired by a ride I loved, the original ride here, World of Motion. But let's go inside now and experience Test Track. It's going to be a 40-inch height requirement here at Test Track, and they offer a single rider line. They, of course, offer Lightning Lane reservations and a regular standby. It's a posted 40-minute wait right now. I am completely alone, so today I will be going single rider. All right, so we ended up getting a 203 with that ready-made car. The top score of the day so far is 230, and it is a very wild-looking car. It doesn't look like anything that we have. So it kind of seems like it pays to go extreme and out of the box and as far away from a traditional vehicle as we know it as possible. Besides that, the ride itself was a really fun experience. I think it's great that it's getting a retheme because I love World of Motion and because the visuals remind me a little bit of Tron. And now we've got two rides that look like that. So when I rode Tron the first time, I said, oh wow, this is a cool ride. It's a lot like Test Track. And, you know, Tron should be Tron. Test Track should be something different. Number 3 on our list, inside here, our beloved Land Pavilion, a ride that originally opened in Disney California Adventure with that park. It is called Sauron. It was an opening day attraction there. This ride replaced Kitchen Cabaret, which was then Food Rocks, 2 audio animatronic shows that were really fun, but this ride is epic. We joke that it's everybody's mother's favorite ride because it has this really kind of euphoric sense and beauty to the visuals, a euphoric flight-like feeling. You're sitting in bench seating that does lift in the air. It goes up pretty high, so if you have a fear of heights, that could be a concern, but really we encourage you to push yourself a little bit if you do have a fear of heights, because honestly, it is so beautiful. If you can get yourself on the ride, you're really rewarded by the sights, the feeling, and the smells. You smell things on this ride, but they're all good things. They aren't skunk or anything else sort of gross that you might smell on other attractions. Right here on Sauron, you get really beautiful, delicious smells, and I can't wait to ride it right now with you. A solid 3rd place for EPCOT, which is a park full of really amazing rides. So definitely, I recommend prioritizing Sauron, whether it be over California or around the world, because it feels great. All right. The ride that our team at All Ears chose as the number 2 ride in EPCOT, Living with the Land in the Land Pavilion. This is a slow-moving boat ride. This is an educational ride. This isn't a thrill ride. It's not, I would say it is immersive. I mean, you're literally riding through greenhouses and experiencing new technologies that Disney is involved in developing in terms of agriculture and the way that plants are grown. You go through the history of agriculture in this ride, and it's in a boat. It's wonderful. Everyone should love this. And it's number 2 on our list for a lot of reasons, mainly because it doesn't really rub anyone the wrong way. I mean, this ride has no enemies. Living with the Land is a newer version of an opening day attraction. It's been here in EPCOT in the Land Pavilion since October 1st, 1982 when the park opened, and it used to have an onboard narrator. Now it's narrated by a recording, but the boat is comfortable. It's easy to step into for most people, and they do accommodate wheelchairs on certain boats. So really anyone can ride this, and I can't describe the feeling that you get on this other than there is something just so awesome about watching plants grow and riding a boat. And those things together make Living with the Land number 2 on our list. Nothing negative to say about Living with the Land. There is a reason it's number 2, and it is absolutely a slow-moving educational ride. It's not a thrill ride. It is just a really, it makes you feel good. That is all I can say about that ride. Living with the Land makes you feel great. Every time I ride, I learn about a new plant. Galangal, I've never heard of it. I looked it up. It's a spice, and they are growing it right now. back behind me in the greenhouses of living with the land. And I just think you can't go wrong, friends. You can't go wrong, everyone. Everyone can ride this. Everyone can enjoy this together and learn and live with the land. And the number one ride on our list of the top 10 rides in EPCOT, according to the experts, Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. This is a ride that I would describe as majestic. Nothing else in the world makes me feel like this. Not only does the train move forward on this roller coaster, but the ride vehicle itself, the car that you're sitting in, moves independently from the train and is able to turn 360, and it does. During the course of this ride, you are not only turning in circles, but you are being propelled forward through space on a traditional roller coaster track. So nothing like this in the world. I haven't ever felt anything like the feeling that you have on this ride. It's a 42-inch height requirement, so it's not going to be for everybody in your family, and it certainly isn't for people who are very sensitive to motion sickness. Especially shout out to people who have vertigo. We've heard it is exceptionally rough for those guests who have vertigo because it makes them feel extra twirly-whirly, and we don't want that for you. But if you can ride this, if you're physically in enough shape in terms of the nausea situation, or if you can eat a banana an hour beforehand, that is a tip that was given to AJ from Disney Food Blog by one of the Imagineers that worked on Mission Space. That's a way that you can fight nausea. Eat a banana an hour beforehand. I've never tried it. Bring some ginger candy for afterwards, because if you can ride this ride, you absolutely should. 6 different songs that you can hear on this ride. That is super fun because I love music from the 70s and 80s, and it's fun that it's randomized and you never know what you're gonna get. And it's fun to ride this ride in general. So instead of talking about it, why don't we go ahead and scan in for our individual Lightning Lane reservation that costs $14 today. It is an option, or you can join the virtual queue. It's your only 2 options at the time of making this video. Either sign up for the virtual queue or buy an individual Lightning Lane reservation like Tron. There is no standby queue. All right, now we've gotten that out of the way and we can actually go ride this ride. On average, we find that when you come back, when your boarding group is called for this ride, you'll end up waiting in this queue for about an hour. If you purchase an individual Lightning Lane reservation, we see on average return a wait time of about 15 minutes. So you definitely save a lot of time by purchasing the individual Lightning Lane reservation, but starting right up here, you miss a ton of the queue, which is very beautifully designed and involves a lot of theming and storytelling. That, whoa, there's that, my shadow of my hand. It's very dramatic here. Jazz hands. I love a queue where you can do jazz hands. I can't wait. Of course, I always want to hear September because I think it's the best song, but I've never heard Conga. I've talked about it before, how I hope I get Conga, just so I can complete the experience. So that's what I'm wishing for today, but I will never be mad at any of these songs because you can't lose. I ran! Now they're playing Boogie Wonderland as you exit. I mean, everything about this ride is perfect to me. Definitely my number one in EPCOT. Definitely, I think it's my number one in all of Walt Disney World. Once we do all 4 parks, we will definitely have to do a video of the top 10 videos in all of Walt Disney World, because I'm very interested to see that list from my coworkers. But in terms of EPCOT, they definitely got this one right. Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind has to be the number one ride in EPCOT. There's no competition. Well, what did you think? Was it worth destroying the trust of my coworkers yet again, or should I let them keep their tips to themselves next time? Let us know in the comments below. If you liked this video, go ahead and like and subscribe. And now go watch the AllEars team go to 8 theme parks in one day without paying to skip the lines. That sounds really hard. I can't wait to watch that video with you. All right, see you next time. Bye.